In an English class, when your teacher asks you to write a paper, she wants you to include the following elements: a thesis, a set of arguments, and pieces of evidence to prove your point. This means adding quotes. If you're tired of receiving papers full of question marks, or if you're sick about that D on your last paper, then keep watching, because this is Integrating Quotes in Plain English. So why does your literature teacher care about quotes so much? Here's why. Everyone is entitled to his or her opinion, whether you're choosing between Team Edward or Team Jacob, or analyzing Hamlet's state of mind. But what makes one interpretation of the work better than another? Ultimately, the interpretation you reach should be based on the text, or the words of the work you have read. Your opinion shouldn't just come out of thin air. It should come from the book, the poem, the essay, or the short story you are analyzing. The text is your evidence. It is the justification for your opinion. As with any piece of evidence, you want to handle it with care. Think of your evidence as a small child whom you would not leave unattended. This is the same with a quote for your paper. It shouldn't be sitting by itself. Quotes that appear by themselves in the middle of a paper interrupt the flow because the reader does not know what it is about, who said it, or why you think it's important. Thus, it is always best to attach the evidence, the quotes, your small child, to your words of analysis. Let's say you're writing a paper on the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. Here's a quote about courage from that novel. There are 3 simple ways you can integrate the quote. The first way is by placing your words first, followed by the quote. Another way to integrate this quote is by placing the quote first, followed by your words. The third way you can integrate your quote is by nestling the quote between your words. Let's take a look at quote integration in action. Here's the quote nestled between your words. Here's how it reads. In forcing Jem to read to Mrs. Dubose, Atticus teaches him that real courage is not a man with a gun in his hand, but rather knowing you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what, as is evident in Mrs. Dubose's struggle to overcome her morphine addiction before her death. As you can see, the quote is a seamless part of the words of analysis. So remember, always attach your evidence, the quote, to your words of analysis, and see how you'll turn this to this. This is Mrs. Petra, integrating quotes in plain English. See you in the classroom.